It's the Andy Thompson Show on ESPN 97.7.
With the third pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Enes Kanter from Istanbul, Turkey, and the University of Kentucky.
It's the Andy Thompson Show.
Hey, buddy, welcome back. Thanks for being with us on a beautiful, hot June 6th in southern Utah. We got game one of the NBA Finals coming your way a little bit later on ESPN 97.7, your home of the NBA Finals. And we wanted to get, because we didn't have Rustyn on the show yesterday, his take on the Jazz rebrand that came out yesterday and was the top headline in the state. Burnsy, I'm sure you're pleased.
I am pleased, but I'm also upset because why was it ever this hard? Why was this not one of the first things that we got handed to us? Because the rebrand right now is a playoff or basically a spinoff of the City Edition jersey that we wore this year, right? So it's not as if it was something that they couldn't drum up, couldn't create. It was a firm decision to go in a totally different direction, reestablish the identity, reestablish the colors, change it all up, which is fine. I don't even care if it was purple. I prefer purple. But, I mean, the Jazz had a plethora of colors to choose from, and they picked something that never, ever, ever tied into Jazz basketball. Yes. And then they made it look ugly.
Yes.
Like, just, it's one thing if you pick those colors, make it look good. Yes. I mean, the Pirates can do it, right? The Penguins can do it. Like, it's possible. But they made it look atrocious. So, like, why did we even have to take a 2-year hiatus? And now this rebrand that we're in, these uniforms are fantastic. Like I said, spin-offs of the City Edition uniform, that purple that we wore. One of them will end up being basically the same uniform over again. One is a similar style jersey in which you have more kind of cartoonish Stockton, Malone, Mountains with that same font. And then, of course, inverse it, and you have your white uniform and then that black Jordan uniform, which it's the first time Utah's ever put kind of the mountaintops on a black jersey, and it looks good. Yeah. It looks fantastic. Yeah. Taylor Hendricks ended up saying on his live that was his favorite. Like, this is a good looking set. It's applauded by so many. And I think because ultimately what we were given 2 years ago, it makes it so easy to appreciate this. If this was the first thing we saw after they announced the rebrand, it might have some mixed reviews or, maybe not everyone would like it. It might be 75% pro, but now it's about 95% pro in favor of these jerseys because of what we just went through. So it's crazy to me that we got to where we were.
It's almost going back to Utah Tech. It's almost like when they first came out and said, okay, we're going to be Utah Polytechnic State University. And everybody was like, what?
Come again?
This is so bad that when they finally said, actually, we're just going to be Utah Tech, everybody was like, okay, that's so much better.
That was all the UPS memes, right?
Yes. Yeah, okay. We'll accept Utah Tech because you let off with this UPSU, whatever. And it kind of reminds me of what the Jazz did with the yellow crap, that the rebrand is obviously going to be accepted. But it's still not fully going to be in play for this upcoming season, right? There's still going to be some yellow jersey games, correct?
There is, absolutely. And this is they call it not a rebrand, AT, because you can't just call something a rebrand anymore. This is an evolution. All right. This is an evolution of Jazz uniforms. And what it comes down to is if you break it down, what you're looking at is going to be the white with the yellow trim jersey will still be on the docket for this upcoming season. The black jersey with the yellow font is going to be on the docket for next season. Those are going to last up until the white one will be worn the whole year. The black one will be worn until December 31st. Before the beginning of 2025.
And this is because of some deal with Nike or some contract or something?
2 years is how long it took to blow this thing up. Trust me. NBA teams change jerseys all the time. Super common. But they do not fully rebrand in 2 years' time. It's typically 5 years is where they let them do different, statement jerseys and City Edition jerseys and stuff like that. But normally your association and things like that have to stay the same. And in this case, for the Jazz rebrand, I think was such a big swing and a miss that Nike said, we'll help you out here soon, but it's going to take a little bit of time. So that black jersey that they've worn the last 2 years with the yellow trim, that dies at the end of 2024. You only get that for a couple seasons into the year. It then will be replaced by the new black uniform we see with the mountains in the background that Taylor Hendricks was wearing in that. So you'll have the white with the yellow trim. You'll eventually, come January 1st, have the black with the mountains behind it. And then you will have, for the entirety of the year, have the new take on the City Edition that looks similar, but they changed the mountains up a little bit. Well, because this year's City Edition doesn't even have mountains. It just looks like it does because of how the design is. They're going to bring that back, but with mountains and with a white Utah script. And then the next year is when you get your white. 2025 to 2026 is when you get that new white uniform that Keontae George is wearing in the reveal. And you also will get the your City Edition from this last season will now be your Icon Edition. So it'll be your standard away uniform. It's very confusing. This last year's City Edition is canceled for a year. Then it comes back in 2 years to be the away jersey. They'll switch up to a new City Edition. So the one we see this year will not be worn in 2025 to 26. And you'll get that black statement edition that Taylor Hendricks is wearing that we will see this year. That will remain into the following year. So very, very confusing. We're going to see 8 jerseys in the next 2 seasons, all part of this evolution process before they finally get to what they were displaying in their reveal video, because that's the end goal, is to have a set just like that. Well, at least 3 of those 4. So yeah, 8 jerseys within the next 2 years.
Fantastic. I love how they looked. I love that they're doing that. I love Ryan Smith correcting something that he knows by now was a mistake, right?
Give him credit, because remember a year ago he was talking about how we know what sells, and what sells is the yellow. He's like, that's what our players want to wear. He's like, that's what we sell in the Jazz team store. He's like, so there are ways to make it work. You know, anytime someone would question about the rebrand, and I'm not sure what happened to those comments. I'm not sure if they just decided that, yellow sells well, but purple will sell better. I don't know, but they were trying to stick to their guns for a while there. Credit to him, credit to the whole Jazz organization or everyone involved for realizing this isn't going to work. We need to change it back up, give the people what they want. And Smith even had something to say when these jerseys were unveiled by simply hinting that, there's a lot of NBA teams that use purple. There's the Kings and there's the Lakers and he's like, so we just had to give it time to find a way to put our unique spin on it. Which, I mean, the unique spin is ding, 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 mountains. Yeah. Right? That's mountain basketball is the slogan you're seeing now that the Jazz are using. That's a no-brainer. I mean, Utah has uniquely the only access to being able to use that type of branding outside of the Denver Nuggets, and they've already kind of coined the whole mile-high basketball. That's their mantra. So let them have that. You take mountain basketball. You're unique. You're special. Use whatever purple you want. Just throw mountains on it, and the fans are happy. I'm happy. You're happy. We're all happy. Just give us the mountains, and we're good to go.
All right. Very good. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with our picks for Game 1, and then we're going to send it off to the NBA Finals Game 1 pregame on ESPN 97.7.